Welcome to my little world here. I'm gonna show you today a couple things. The main thing is of course, the passive mob switch and the mysterious, the mystery. Jesus Christ. This is gonna be just a little tour today. I'm gonna show you around just a little bit. Of course, the main focus here today is this nice little structure. It's the home for my passive mob switch. You might think it's maybe a little bit much to have a construction of this sort for such a simple thing, but you know, it can be important, right? But you know, it can be important. So yeah, this here is half the mob switch. This over here is the other half of the passive mob switch. And it's pretty sweet. If you go up over here, this is like just outside the lazy chunks outside spawn. Alright, so this here is the outer edge of the lazy chunks. These two chunks here are the lazy chunks around spawn. And then these are actually the fully loaded chunks outside spawn. So having the chickens here means that when spawn chunks are loaded, these will be in the lazy chunks. So that then they will be included in the passive mob cap. If I want to disable the mob switch, I take care of business. But then there won't actually be any passive mobs in the lazy chunks that are all loaded. These ones are going to unload because they're far enough out. But when I come back in through that portal, I'll already have something around, again, 16 passive mobs loaded, so I don't have to worry about any additional passive mobs spawning up in the rest of the overworld. So when I come back through this portal, I already have a bunch of passive mobs loaded, so I don't have to worry about any more spawning in and messing with my mob cap. I've done that before. I forgot to activate this, and so I wandered around the overworld inside the spawn chunks, and I had a bunch of other passive mobs spawn, and I had to wander around killing things for a little while to figure it out. And of course, there's a simple little clock. I don't know if you can actually see it. Oh, yeah. This is a basic little clock with an observer, some rails, so it shoots out a bunch of chickens, and you wait for it to get up over 10. I usually go for around 15, just because. Oh, what a thrill. However, what we're about to go take a look at, this is not particularly helpful. I actually need this deactivated. So now, these are the fully loaded spawn chunks, and in the lazy loaded chunks there aren't any passive mobs. So these guys will prevent any additional passive mobs from spawning in while I'm in the area, just to make sure. And then when I leave to the nether, I'll have no more passive mobs. So yeah, I'll see you over at the next place. So here, I have a nice little observational area out in the nether where I can take a look around. And this here is, I was bringing out some rabbits for a rabbit farm. But yeah, this is over top, an area I cleared out. This is corresponding to a passive mob perimeter in the overworld. It's like a 2x2 thing. That's one chunk in the overworld. So it's it's a decently sizable space. So I was bringing some. Yeah, so I designed this thing. So a 4x4 elevator, goes down and up, obviously, but so I can take some of the horses out. So this is the gold standard for all you nutcases out there. This is basic little thing here. Just run down these things, see how many it can get through. They have some, god damn it. Yeah, so it can jump at least 3.5 blocks high, and it can run a pretty fast speed. And I just use this as a quick sorting mechanism, because if you want to sort through 1,000 horses, and each one takes you a minute. That's 1,000 minutes, and it's gonna take a while. So yeah, it's important to have just as quick, just a basic sorting mechanism as possible. Here's just speed, jump height. Over here, I have some donkeys. Let's see what we have here. This is not great. This one has a greater number of hearts, which is why I kept this one. This one can run at a decent speed, but then it can jump at decent height. So it's, you know, it's kind of nice to have a good combination, a good mix of both really fast horses and horses that can jump high. So most of the horses I end up taking out somewhere else, so that way I don't have to worry about them. It's causing too much lag. I once had too many horses in here, and it just lagged too much. I couldn't really test anything properly. I have them all coming through this portal here, and I figured out since the horses and donkeys hitboxes are larger, they'll actually glitch through this stuff. So it's in the overworld for a while. There's a whole bunch of them come through, then I'll come through the portal up top there, and then all the mobs, then this will load and all the mobs will like shoot out and into the fire. Or the horses and donkeys, some of them will go into the fire, but a lot of them will end up pushing out, glitching out just around this area here. And I have a little space down here, so rabbits can get out from underneath there over into this side. I tried to have them breed, tried to come up with some way of collecting them, moving them around, and breeding them through here, because the baby rabbits can fit through this and adult rabbits can't. But ultimately they just like jump around and glitch themselves to death, running into odd blocks and whatever else, so it's just ended up not being worth it. So netherrack on fire, there are hopper minecarts in every single one of these, so I can get all the stuff out of them. I used to also take horses out this side, just add a block on top of these, and the horses will be able to push themselves across, but I figured it wasn't worth it. Just let them burn if they don't come out the other side. It's, you know, it takes too much time. Again, if you want to really sort through that many horses, then you need to just make a quick loop and a quick loop and another quick loop. You just have to do it really, really quickly if you don't want to waste too much of your time. Alright, so anyway, let's go take a look now at the overworld side of things. Alright, now this is a bit rough. I've not really done any decoration. These things are here because if I run it for a while, I often have the problem that my elytra just won't work. So I have to throw ender pearls to get up from the center. I have plans for a tower at some point here in the center, but you know, I have other priorities in life and in Minecraft. Here's the basic setup. You can see that is edge of forest. So I have some forest over there. There's a little bit, I don't know if you can see this little blue stuff here. So some taiga. This all here inside the yellow. This is flower forest. So I get the basic passive mobs and rabbits. And this here, this area in between the yellow and the green, all this area in here is plains. So you get the normal passive mobs and horses and donkeys. So I can get the majority of different mobs here. I can get some dogs, I can get some foxes. I have some timing mechanisms over here. So I set up another set here in the the plains if I want to get horses at a higher rate, which could be nice. And one problem I ran into is that after a little while, everything just stopped. Right, it worked for half an hour, 45 minutes, and then everything would just stop spawning. And so what I ended up discovering, there's the clock, is that the smaller mobs, both chickens and rabbits, if they're just a little bit too far out, it's like 3.5 chunks out, they're just beyond that, just a little too far out, then they're not actually gonna, then for some reason the water doesn't push them around properly. So after like 45 minutes, I'd have a bunch of chickens over there. I'd have a bunch of rabbits over in all the way in the back, over on this side here. And that would actually stop anything from spawning in because I had too many mobs, too many passive mobs loading. So I couldn't anymore just run stuff from the center. I had to deactivate those ones entirely because they were too far out. And these ones I ended up just moving the places, the AFK place further out to the side. We have some rabbits here, just hanging out. I don't know. Yeah, but it's a bit of an issue. If the mobs don't get pushed around, they'll just build up further out where you can't see them. So I don't know why it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know what versions this does or doesn't happen in. I'm still playing on 1.13 for some reason, right? So rabbits, chickens. Well, in this case, I'm scaring them into the thing, but they just don't get rendered in, and for some reason, they don't get pushed around by the water either. So that was interesting. That was really annoying to figure out. Wondering why in the world this stuff was going on. Try to figure out what was wrong with my passive mob switch, and it just didn't. Just couldn't seem to figure it out for a while until I started flying around, and then I finally realized, like, hey, wait a minute, these little guys. I noticed they weren't rendering in from further away, but they don't even get pushed by the water streams, it seems, from further away. So that was annoying to figure out. And this is just a look from above about what it looks like. So yeah, these ones are just completely deactivated, and from the center I had to deactivate these two back here, but by moving the AFK platform further out, I can actually get close enough that the chickens and rabbits will get pushed around. Yeah, so I used some basic 3-directional TNT dupers. I haven't obviously finished cleaning this side up with the lava because I don't care. But yeah, that was one of the things I did to try to troubleshoot why it wasn't working. Is I bombed out like a couple chunks more on the edge to make sure there were no passive mobs anywhere, and there I just couldn't figure it out until I realized it was the damn chickens and rabbits. You know, because otherwise you could potentially have just a huge area. It's like take up however much space I wanted with this stuff, make it a hell of a lot faster. But as it is, I'm stuck to limited like distance out away from the player. I don't know. I'd be curious to see if it changes in other versions. I ended up building a whole bunch of these little machines here, just a basic flying machine with a bunch of extensions, stuff pushing down to go back and forth across, clear out the like 3 layers of lava. It's pretty nice. Like you set it up high enough that it'll clear up the top 2 layers of the low level bedrock, the low level lava, and then you can just place a bunch of pistons, use redstone blocks, and push them down, and send it back over one more time, so you can get rid of 3 levels of lava pretty easily, pretty nicely. So yeah, obviously I've just left it, left it off. So these are some flying machines. I think Comet 107. He's got a lot of great stuff out there. So this is one of his designs. I know Razorworks showcased it. I think he may have helped build it as well. It's a basic TNT duper, flies back and forth. It's 3-directional. There's plains and flower forest, mostly some forest and some other things, so it wasn't too painful to clear out. There wasn't a whole lot of water in this one. I have a double witch hut perimeter. That was a pain with all the water. There's a lot of flying machines and a bunch of sponge, but this one wasn't too bad. And yeah, this is this is very rough. Just the basic thing I was building it, using to build the structure. So I still have the supply storage, past mob perimeter. So I got my pimp tower I'm gonna be setting up. Got some materials, got a plan for it. But yeah, this is my little passive mob perimeter. It was nice to have that. It was good to have the passive mob switch back at spawn in order to actually make this thing work. Yeah, because otherwise you're gonna have a bunch of passive mobs at spawn, and it's just gonna make it impossible for anything like this to function. Yeah. So there's that. I don't know. Hopefully maybe you found some of this interesting. I found I'd never gotten out of the early game till like a year and a half ago. I didn't realize there was anything more to the game until I started looking at like Nemod's video and Ilmango's videos. It's like, oh shit, turns out there's a little bit more to this game. So yeah, it's kind of fun. Goodbye.